What you're about to witness is pure chess magic, a spectacular battle overflowing with relentless attacks and daring sacrifices. And of course, the master of such chaos could be none other than Mikhail Tal, the magician from Riga. In the 1959 Zurich tournament, just 1 year before Tal would become world champion, he faced Erwin Nievergelt in a game that would leave the audience in awe. Let's set the stage. Tal commands the white pieces, Nievergelt defends with the black, and the game begins with e4, c5, Sicilian defense, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, d6, the classical variation in the Sicilian defense. It's one of the best options for playing for a win with the black pieces, as it leads to dynamic and unbalanced positions without as much forced theory as other Sicilians, like the Najdorf and the Sveshnikov. Bishop g5, the Richter-Rauzer variation. The idea behind this move is to follow up with bishop takes f6, damaging the opponent's pawn structure. That's why Nievergelt replies with e6, queen d2. The idea is clear: castle long and go for an attacking game. We couldn't expect anything less from Tal. h6, attacking the bishop. Quick reminder, drop a like and a comment. It helps the channel reach more chess fans. Thanks. Okay, the game continues with bishop takes f6. G takes f6. This is the best reply. If queen takes f6, which is a dubious move, the game would continue with knight db5, attacking the d6 pawn and threatening knight to c7 check, with a fork to the king and rook. Queen e7, castle queenside, and white would exert immense pressure on the poor d6 pawn. It's very likely that white would win that pawn. Let's get back to the game. As I said, g takes f6 was played by Nievergelt. Tal castle queenside. Pawn to a6, preventing knight jumps to b5. f4. Bishop d7. Bishop e2. A solid move, with the idea of playing the annoying bishop to h5. Another very interesting option would have been to play g3, followed by bishop h3 and f5. Okay, let's return to the game. As I mentioned, bishop e2 was played by Tal. Nievergelt h5, preventing the opponent's bishop to h5. King b1, queen b6. Black, having less space on the board, aims to exchange some pieces to relieve their cramped position. This is completely correct from a strategic standpoint. Since white enjoys more space on the board, they should avoid exchanging pieces. Tal knows this well, so he plays knight b3, preventing simplifications and keeping black cramped for space. Castle queenside. Rook hf1. Bishop e7. Rook f3. The rook hopes to find employment on the third rank where it can shuttle to either wing. Rook dg8, attacking the g2 pawn. Bishop f1, defending the pawn. King b8. Rook d3. White lines up 3 pieces on the d-file, putting more pressure on the d6 pawn. Bishop c8. Pawn to a3. h4. Queen e1. Rook g4, attacking the f4 pawn. Knight d5. What an interesting move. This is the first of several surprises. Black is forced to capture, but the result is by no means unfavorable for him. E takes d5. E takes d5, attacking the knight and bishop. Knight e5, attacking the rook. F takes e5. F takes e5. The net result is that black straightened out his doubled pawns and opened diagonals for his bishops. White must attack now or perish in the long run. Knight a5. Bishop d8, attacking the invading knight. Knight c6 check. King a8. Of course, not takes c6, due to rook b3, pinning and winning the queen. Back to the game. As I said, king a8 was played by Nievergelt. Tal rook b3, attacking the queen. Queen c7. Rook c3. Interesting move. Tal sacrifices his knight in exchange for a furious attack. In case of knight takes d8 and queen takes d8, you can see that white has no attack, and probably black would be better. For that reason, Tal decided to sacrifice a piece. Back to the real game. As I said, rook c3 was played by Tal. Nievergelt takes c6. Rook takes c6. Queen b7. Rook takes d6. Tal is being very optimistic and does not make the best move. The best move here was to play bishop takes a6, forcing queen takes a6. Rook takes a6 check. Bishop takes a6, capturing a second pawn to step up the pressure. But after queen c3, the position would be uncertain. There would be chances of victory for both players. Let's get back to the game. As I mentioned, rook takes d6 was played by Tal. Nievergelt rook a4, protecting the a6 pawn, but this, besides being a passive move, allows Tal to get back into the game. It was much better to play queen b8, followed by bishop b6 and rook d4. Black is better. Okay, let's return to our game. As I said, rook a4 was played by Nievergelt. Tal rook d3. This is not the best move, but at least it's consistent with the nature of the position. He may want to bring his rook to b3 to attack the black queen and pile up pieces to attack the opponent's king. Bishop c7. Rook f6. Bishop d8. The game is absolute madness. You can see the advantage swinging back and forth. Rook c6. e4. This is a mistake. After rook e8, good move. White has no immediately decisive blow. Back to our game. As I mentioned, e4 was played by Nievergelt. Tal rook b3, bishop a5, queen e3, queen a7, queen h6. The final jolt. Had Tal not taken risks, such a complex position would never have occurred. Obviously, the queen is immune because of rook takes c8 check. Rook d8, bishop takes a6, bishop d2, queen f6, queen d7. Bishop takes c8, and here, black resigns, seeing that white would play rook to a6 check on the next move. If black were to play, for example, rook takes c8, white, as I said, would continue with rook a6 check, and black would have to give up their queen to avoid checkmate in just a few moves. In other words, this would be a complete massacre against black's king. What a game by Mikhail Tal. In the game we just watched, we witnessed the magician from Riga make a typically speculative sacrifice to maintain the initiative. From there, one surprise followed another, until finally Nievergelt succumbed to the immense pressure from the Soviet player. I think it's worth mentioning that Mikhail Tal won this tournament, finishing ahead of renowned players like Gligerich, Fischer, Karas, Larsen, and Onziker, clearly showing his strength as a future world champion. As I mentioned at the start of this video, just 1 year later Tal became world champion by defeating fellow Soviet Mikhail Botvinnik. Tal is simply a chess legend. I hope you enjoyed this game and my analysis. Don't forget to support the video by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with your friends. See you in the next video. Take care.